some modern normal cars are better than old supercars. And in this video, I'm going to prove that statement with a number of statistics, such as power and torque figures, 0 to 60 times, standing quarter mile times, top speed, aerodynamics, and price. I'm also going to throw in some lap times as well, which will surprise you. Because I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching Carwow. Buy, sell,
Carwow.
Let's start this video with power and torque. So in the early 1990s, a Porsche 964 Turbo and Ferrari 348 GTB both put out 320 horsepower, which was a lot back then. However, today a mid-level Kia Ev6 dual motor has 321 horsepower, so one more horsepower than those two supercars. However, when it comes to torque, the Kia Ev6 is so much further ahead than the other two cars. So, the Ferrari had 324 Newton meters of torque. The Porsche, a more respectable 450 Newton meters, but this Kia, it puts out 605 Newton meters of torque. Yes, that's one of the benefits of electric power. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, Matt, you're calling a 911 Turbo a supercar. It's not, right? It's a sports car. Well, how's this for a supercar? A Lamborghini Murcielago. Its V12 puts out 580 horsepower and 650 Newton meters of torque, which is better than that mid-level Kia. However, if you go for the top of the range Kia Ev6, the GT model, that has 585 horsepower, so 5 more than the Lambo, and 740 Newton meters of torque. That's an extra 90 Newton meters. And that brings us on to 0 to 60 times. You see, the Lamborghini Murcielago does 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, and being a manual, you're going to have to be a racing driver to achieve that time. Most people aren't going to get close. However, Kia Ev6 GT, that'll do 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, no matter who's driving it, even my mum.
Oh, what a start! Go!
Obviously, the Kia Ev6 GT is a high-performance version of a normal car, but there are plenty of normal versions of normal cars which have faster 0 to 60 times than many old supercars. Here's a selection now. Now you might be thinking, a lot of those cars on the list, obviously you're comparing an electric car which have no gearbox to old performance cars which have a manual gearbox, which isn't fair. How about then two cars which both have automatic gearboxes, such as a Ferrari F430. The 0 to 60 time for that, 4 seconds. However, an Audi RS3, which yes is a high performance version of a normal car, is claimed to do 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. However, when I launched one, this is how fast I managed to go in it. Oh, sweet launch. 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. Now that 3.6 seconds is the same time that Ferrari quotes for their 430 Scuderia, which was like the bonkers stripped out high performance track focused version of the F430. Same time. Now before we go any further, if you enjoy these kind of videos and you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on. That way you won't miss a single upload. 0 to 60 times are all well and good, but what happens if you're racing over a longer distance, say a quarter mile? Well, I've done loads of drag races with a wide range of cars, and you know what? There's many cases where a normal-ish car has outperformed a supercar. For instance, an Audi e-tron is quicker over the quarter mile than an old NSX. A BMW 840D is quicker than a Ferrari Testarossa. An Audi TTS is quicker than a Audi R8 V8. A Tesla Model 3 long range is quicker than a Porsche 911 996 Turbo S. Now let's move on to top speed. And back in the 1980s, a Lamborghini Countach 5000S was considered very quick. It could do 150 miles an hour. However, a modern VW Golf GTD with its 2-litre diesel engine can do 152 miles an hour. Thankfully, later versions of the Countach were quicker. For instance, the 25th anniversary model could do a top speed of 183 miles an hour, which is 2 miles an hour quicker than its key rival, the Ferrari Testarossa. Still, they're both slower than a modern-day Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, which can do a top speed of 191 miles an hour. It's a 4-door saloon. Now, one of the reasons that many modern cars are actually quicker than old supercars is because they are more aerodynamic. For instance, that old Countach 5000S if you removed its rear wing, which actually did nothing, it was just for show, you'd increase its top speed by 10 miles an hour to 160 miles an hour. But what about those supercars that are designed specifically to set top speed records? Obviously, they're made as aerodynamic as possible. For instance, Jaguar XJ220 set a 270 mile an hour top speed record in 1992. A Bugatti Veyron set a 253 mile an hour top speed record in 2005. Both those cars look really slippery, and they had a drag coefficient of 0.36 CD. This is the latest Range Rover. Looks like a brick, doesn't it? Not going to be aerodynamic, that at all. However, its drag coefficient is 0.3 CD. So better than those supercars with their top speed records. Now here's a collection of other normal cars which have better drag coefficients than old supercars. Now I should point out that a car's drag coefficient shows how aerodynamic it is for its size. So if you have a smaller car with a higher drag coefficient, it can actually be more aerodynamic than a larger car with a smaller one. But if you made the smaller car the same size as the larger car, the one with the lowest drag coefficient will be the most aerodynamic. It does mean that probably a Range Rover isn't quite as aerodynamic as the smaller Bugatti Veyron. But you get the idea. Now let's compare some cases where some performance versions of normal cars are quicker around a track than a supercar. And let's use the Nürburgring as an example. It always happens. Always happens. I'm not going to say that word again. Anyway, let's start off with a Honda Civic Type R, which is quicker around the green hell than a 2006 Porsche 911 997 GT3. A Tesla Model S Plaid is quicker than a Porsche 911 997 GT2 from 2007. And an AMG GT 4-door is quicker than a Porsche Carrera GT. However, I don't just want to beat up on Porsche, because obviously supercars have got quicker as well. To give you an example, the current generation 992 GT3 is faster around the Nürburgring than these supposedly bonkers cars. It's chaos in here. Finally, we come to price. So, if you get a Porsche Macan GTS, yes, it's a sporty version of a sporty brand car, but it's an SUV, isn't it, right? And you spec it up with all the options, you can spend over £110,000. That means it's more expensive than this collection of supercars once you've adjusted their original price for inflation. Yes, cars are getting more expensive, aren't they? So if you want to make sure that you're paying a fair price for whichever car you're thinking of buying, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below to go to carwow to see how much you can save on your next car. Actually, if you're getting a new car, you probably need to sell your current car, and if you want to find out how much it's really worth, once again, go to carwow, the link's in the description. All you have to do is upload some photos, give a brief description, and our dealers will bid on your car. And if you want to, you can accept the highest offer. They'll come to your house, take the car away, put them in your account. It's easy. If you don't want to, you don't have to. There's no obligation and there is no fee. Now, if you want to do all that at a later date, just simply Google "Help Me Carwow" and we will help you change car. I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you did, give it a like. Click on those windows there for some more videos, and on that box there for a surprise.